welcome or welcome back. We are your hosts, Dulce
and Eli, and today we're answering Google's most asked questions about Latinas.
As I was doing the research for it, I was really excited because some of the questions are just kind of ridiculous and they're so funny. But we are answering questions with who, what, when, where, are, and why. So all I did for this, I would go on Google and I would type in those questions mixed with Latina and just the top ones, get it out there and see if we can answer them. So we're going to be starting with why.
Okay.
I think these are so fucking funny.
I think the first one is funny.
Like, who's Googling these questions is what I want to know.
For real. So for it to be the most asked questions.
Yes.
Like, how many people have asked this question? That's what it makes me think.
Right.
For it to be the most asked question on Google.
They're so funny. But the very first one, and it's the most popular no matter what I would look at, is why do Latinas like Edgars? So if anybody doesn't know or isn't familiar, Edgars is basically those Hispanic guys with like the bowl
haircuts.
Yeah. It's just weird. And like a lot of them drive trucks and they say like no quema cut and they're always in a little group.
And then the trucks turn out to be like lowriders and shit like that.
It's just so funny. But why do Latinas like Edgars?
Honestly, I can't even answer that question because I'm not one of those.
Same.
So, wrong Latinas to ask that question. So, but if you are a Latina, y'all should leave it in the comments or something.
Why do you like the Edgars?
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I think it's a generational thing.
Gotcha.
Because Edgars is like a more Gen Z thing.
Right.
We're not Gen Z. Because I was thinking...
Technically, I am.
Technically. But you're like the oldest Gen Z. Because what I was thinking is we had Edgars, technically, in our... Like...
What were our Edgars?
The swag. Swag boys.
Okay, yeah.
And do you remember how much people used to talk shit about them? But I personally like them.
Same.
Yeah. Same. So I was thinking like, why? So what I think it is almost human nature to like your own group of people. So like Hispanics liking Hispanics, white liking whites. You know what I mean? Like it's just more human nature to like your own kind.
Right.
As far as like romantically. And in that stage in life, it's what most of our people are doing. So it's just the style we like because we like them. That's what I thought it was.
I mean, that would actually make sense, you know, because that was like the moda for that particular group of people.
Right.
And usually like you go for what's in style during that time. So
right.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking, because like we had Edgars. I mean, not with that name.
Our own kind of Edgars.
Yeah, we had the swag boys who would shuffle, wear skinny jeans with either Vans or Converse. That style, you know, and that was what was in, and it's what most girls liked. Yeah. Especially when do you remember the Wiz Khalifa blonde strip?
Yes. Or now that they would wear snapbacks too.
Snapbacks, yes, with the belts. Oh my God.
For real.
But I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just Latinas more than likely Latinas more than likely are attracted to Latinos, and that's just what the most common fashion trend is at the time. So it seems like they like that trend, but I think it's because we just like Latinos and that's what Latinos are wearing.
Yeah. Probably.
Because that's how it was for us. But
that makes
different
sense,
trend. Yeah.
I wonder what the next Edgar is going to be.
Because that's not even what they used to be called. Do you remember when they first came out, they were called tacuaches?
Yeah. I was about to bring that up too.
Because those are possums, right? Yeah. I was getting confused. Either possum or there's another one.
A raccoon?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know which one it is actually. One of the two. I think tacuache is either a possum or a raccoon. One of the two.
But they get referred to either one of those back when they first started. Yeah. And then, I don't know, somewhere along the line, they changed to Edgars, which I think is so fucking funny.
Yeah. Because it would make sense because a lot of them, though, with that same haircut, a lot of them, their name is Edgar. So...
Someone probably saw a bunch of them, and a bunch of them were Edgars, and they were just like, that's what we're going to call y'all now.
Edgars. Yeah.
Which I think is funny. The next one I also think is funny, but like, come on now. Why do Latinas have more body hair?
I mean, that's that's not a lie, but why do we have more hair?
So I actually searched it up to see if I could find maybe like a scientific answer.
I feel like that would be for like protection from the sun.
Yeah, so kind of. Yes. Sorry. So that's what I actually wanted to bring up is the fact that body hair, we forget, is not there for decoration. Mm-hmm. It has a practical purpose. Like, por decir, your eyebrows and your eyelashes are meant to put there to protect your eyes from getting too much sunlight or dust coming into them. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have evolved and made them pretty and done this and done that to make them an asset of our face. But that's not what they're for. Like, they're put there to be practical and to protect us. And just like that, they all serve a purpose, like your nose hairs, your armpit hairs. Yes, we have evolved and I feel like we don't need as much protection as like our ancestors like thousands of years ago did. Right. Because back then they were like cavemen. It was just a completely different life. Right. So I don't feel like we need them anymore, but that's what they're there.
That's the purpose of them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But I actually read this article posted by the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology, and they said that their findings found that hair growth had more to do with race than with skin pigmentation. Because I know some people think like the darker you are, the more hair you may have, the lighter you are, the less hair you have. Mm-hmm. But they found that it was more prominent in certain ethnic groups.
Gotcha.
And so the article that I had found, it said that and they did this with women. Mm-hmm. Japanese women had the least. Then it came to Caucasian women. Then I believe African American. Then Hispanic. Then Eastern, Asian. And then the ones that had the most were Western Asian. Asian Indian, I think is what they called it.
Gotcha.
And so I think it just depends on what part of the world. Again, the world has changed so much with like immigration, migration, slavery, all those things that happened thousands of years ago. So people kind of like that started here, came over here. And not only that, but more like interracial relationships. But I just think it has more to do with your race and where our ancestors came from. Like you said, from like sun protection. So there was parts of the world that had way more sun than other parts of the world. Mm-hmm. So God intentionally put more body hairs on those people to be protected. That's what I think. That's a completely 100% opinion, not backed up by science.
I had seen this video not too long ago. It was talking about particularly the correlation between skin tone and sunlight. Mm-hmm. So based on whatever region you're in or whatever region you're talking about, the countries that have more sun exposure tend to have darker skin, right? That would make sense, right? Mm-hmm. And the countries or the regions in the world that have less sun, have lighter skin. And whenever someone from whatever region they're originated from travel to a different country where it's the complete opposite. So like, let's say a person who is a little bit more dark complected moves to a region that has little to no sun during the day, they can ultimately fall into some sort of depression because we get vitamin D from the sun, right? And vitamin D is what helps produce serotonin into the body, and you lack serotonin whenever you're depressed, basically. So whenever you're in a country or in a region or whatever that has less sun, and because you're dark complected, you're used to a certain amount of sun to keep the serotonin levels in your body balanced. And because you're not getting enough sun now, because you're in a place of the world where it doesn't get as much sun as in the place that you originated from, then you're more likely to fall into depression. Which I just thought was interesting.
Oh, for sure. And it backs up the seasonal depression thing. Yeah. Where people are just more down. Which is why summer over winter. Yes. In every way. No, but yeah. I mean, there's a lot of factors. Again, I couldn't really find one, like a scientific answer as to why Latinas have more body hair. But I mean, it is something that is commonly known among us. Like, and me included, I am a monkey. I am so hairy no matter what part of my body you look at. And I just think it kind of sucks that as a society we've made it to where you're only attractive if you're hairless.
Right? It sucks.
Like, it's natural. I was born like this, you know? And not every Latina, because I will say this, and this pisses me off even more. My mom, hairless.
Bro,
She
my
has
mom
like
too.
no hair.
Same. My mom is... You can't even see her hairs. The very little hairs that she has, they're very, very light. So you can't even see them.
It's
You have
just
to like... Yeah, you need to get like a whole magnifying glass just to see them.
Really?
Yeah.
For mine, she has nothing. Like, on her arms, she's completely hairless. Her legs, it's so weird. She does not grow hair on her legs, only on her shins. Like this part right here, and it's just like a strip. But aquí, like her whole thigh, front and back, nothing. The back of her, like bottom leg, nothing.
Really?
It's just the front, like,
so if she shaves,
part.
she just gotta go
And done.
and I'm done.
Yep.
Must be nice.
Must be so nice.
Dang. I paid to get laser hair removal just so I can get like that.
You literally. And some are just born like that.
I know.
And I tell her all the time.
Yeah, trade me. Trade legs with me.
Like, you're my mom. Why did you have to go marry a chango? Because I came out just like my dad. Like my face looks just like him, but also like the hairiness, you know? He is a very hairy man. Luckily, I didn't come out as hairy as him, so it could have been worse. But I still came out very hairy.
You should have just been a man that way. If you were hairy, that would have been fine.
Right? Like, I hate when, it bugs the fuck out of me when guys come up to you and they're like, ew, your arms are so hairy. And I'm like, bitch, look at yours. Shut up.
I've actually never... I feel like my arm hairs have been very light colored.
Must be nice.
Especially whenever I go tanning, my hairs get lighter and lighter. But
mine,
I
feel like mine are not as bad, or maybe I just don't care about it anymore, but I do shave my arms.
I've never shaved my arms.
I shave my arms. I used to a lot more back then, almost like my legs. Like, as soon as I see a little bit of grow back, right away shave it. Now I'll shave it maybe like every 2 to 3 months. Just once it starts getting like big, like long hair, and then it starts bothering me, then like I take them off. Especially during the summer. During the winter, I don't really care because I'm always covered up, either in a jacket or like long sleeve. But during the summer, I always shave.
Interesting.
But it lasts a lot longer than during the winter.
Oh, for sure. Because as soon as you start getting goosebumps, the hair start coming out.
That's another practical reason. They're meant to keep us calientitas.
Same. Same. Yes, same for you. Which I hate, because it's just like, if I just shaved, of course I don't want hairs right now. Right. How are you going to give me hairs in like less than 12 hours?
And that is one thing that I kept seeing whenever I kept Googling it. Is like, why do we still have it? Because it was a more protectional thing. But in my opinion, it's a lot of things we don't really need protection of anymore. Yeah, so it's like, why hasn't evolution caught up and just made us hairless?
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's part of us. If you're a hairy Latina, embrace it. Fuck the guys. Because it's always guys.
Yeah.
Or no, I feel like there
sometimes
are girls
that is girls.
Yeah. But in my opinion, it's been, from my personal experience, every time any girl said anything about like my body hair, I didn't know that back then because it happened a lot during middle school. And I noticed it was a lot of girls that they themselves had body hair. So it's like, why are you talking? Like, back then it was, why are you talking shit if you're the same way? But now that I've become older and like I know more things, I could see that it's just the deflection of their own insecurities.
Right. Because
of course they're going to be like, ew, you have arm hair. And it's like, so do you. And I didn't know this back then. There was this one particular girl who would always, I wouldn't say bully, but she would always like point it out. She'd be like, oh my god, like, look at your hairs, you don't shave. Like, those like almost backhand.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, you don't shave. Like, they wouldn't outright be like, oh, you're hairy, but they'd be like, oh, like, you should try shaving. You've never thought about shaving? Things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but now I do. Fuck you. But anyway, I never saw hair on her, and I always thought she was hairless, and so she had the right to talk shit almost, right? But then come to find out years later, she had rubbed up against me. I forgot for what reason.
She felt prickly.
So prickly.
Bro.
And that's when I was like, you fucking shaving. You're always talking shit about me. You're probably hairier than me. But back then, my mom wouldn't let me do anything. I couldn't start shaving my legs until like I think high school, because all through middle school, she made me use Nair. The hair cream. Because I wanted to shave so bad, because I went to a private school, so we always wore skirts. Like, my legs were always exposed. And, of course, like, I would get picked on because, like, oh, my God, you're so hairy. And as a kid, like, of course, that gets to you. So I would, like, beg my mom, please let me shave. She'd be like, no, because it is a myth. I've seen it in so many different, like, articles and so many people talking about it. If you shave, your hair does not come out thicker and longer. Anyway, she thought that. So she was like, you're not going to shave because it's going to come out worse. So she made me use Nair for like 3 years.
What? I used Nair once, never again.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I probably just didn't do it right, but I had so many like chemical burns afterwards.
Ooh, yeah, you might have not used it right.
Yeah, no.
Or maybe your skin was sensitive to it.
Maybe.
Could have been. Because I used it for 3 years. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it worked, but it was such a hassle. You have to, like, you know, como crema, put it all over, and then you have to wait like 10, 20, whatever the time is. And then you gotta like basically brush it off with like a towel. Like it felt like a pain in the ass when I'm like, why can't I just shave?
Right.
You know? But anyway, I wasn't allowed. So I used Nair for like 3 years, probably all through middle school. And then it wasn't until high school where I was like, fuck this shit. I'm using a razor.
I remember the first time I did it, lo hice a escondidas. Because I was scared to like ask permission. And one of my sisters had those like big disposable razors.
I hate those.
I know.
I just look at them and like it hurts.
But I mean, like, that was the only thing I had, so I used that. And I didn't know how to shave, right? So I would like shave in all sorts of ways. I would shave up, and then I shave down, and then I shave sideways, and then later
like if you were coloring.
Yeah.
Just get in the spots.
And then later on, a few years later, I like learned the proper way to shave and everything. But it was just, I don't know. I just had to like learn that on my own.
Bro, would you cut yourself a lot when you first started?
Oh, hell yeah.
Bro, around my ankles?
Bro, my knees.
Really?
Yeah.
So this day, I get so scared of shaving around my ankles. And I go so slow. Because I would shave... Every time I would shave, I would always cut my ankles.
I would always cut my knees.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's because, like, you know, like all the bony shit right here that you have on your knee.
It's just like a weird texture.
Bumps. Yeah. And yo, en vez de estirar la pierna, I would just go like this, put it on top of whatever part of the tub. And because the bones are sticking out, it would like... And it was a cheap-ass razor. That certainly didn't help. So it would always cut my knees.
And then with those cheap razors, like menos duraba. I feel like with those, the hair would grow back even quicker.
For real.
Ugh, I hated them. My mom, that's what she used to use them in because she has no hair. So it's like she don't really even need it. All she needed it was for like her armpits.
Nice.
And obviously, the more you use it, más filo se le quita, right?
Right.
And I need to shave basically head to toe. So it's like... I don't know if it happens to you. I'll get a brand new razor and I shave both legs and my armpits and it already lost like half of its filo.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Bro, I just used it once. This is a scam.
For real. But once I discovered like men's razors, I never went back.
I need to start doing that.
I love men's razors.
I've heard that so much. That
You
they're
should
so
do
much
it.
better. They even like maneuver so much better.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have a Gillette Fusion one. I have this blue one and it's not one
Sponsor us.
For real. Like if y'all Gillette can literally make money off, like can make bank off.
Well,
girls.
Gillette does make women.
But like their women's ones are shit though.
I don't understand why they don't make them as good.
Like, okay.
What's with the discrimination?
I've noticed like, okay, so for the Gillette ones, for the women, they'll have like the big things on both ends, on the top and the bottom, to like make your skin smooth, which I do like, and they smell really good. The thing I don't like is that the razors, they're usually less blades or they lose their sharpness like even faster than the men's razors, which is why I like the men's razors better. Right. They have like a little bit sometimes like on the top and the bottom of like a little gel thing. They don't have a really scent to it, but like it has a little gel there, but se acaba bien rápido. But I mostly like it because of the sharp of the razor,
right? And
they work really well, and it has a better, like, you can see like the little, I guess, heads that move. Like it literally goes like this way, that way. Like it doesn't just go up and down like the women's one. Like it literally goes side to side. Like,
and I mean, it makes sense because they use it more on their Well, really only all their face. So it's like you have to be a little more careful because it is more sensitive. But like we shave everything else.
I know.
We should be your targeted audience.
For real. Like we'll probably end up using it more than the men.
We probably spend way more money than men do.
Because they don't all shave their beards and their mustaches and shit. Like, they grow it out. If anything, they just use scissors to trim that shit.
Or they'll just have their barbers do it.
Right.
I know a lot of men that don't even touch their facial hair, but every time they go get a haircut, they get the barber to fix it up and like trim it. Like
and
they don't even mess
use
with it.
Those kinds of razors. They use their own professional kinds of razors, which is not even
is the one that's just the one blade.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, Gillette, make women your targeted audience, okay? Not men anymore. Fuck the men.
You know how there's a men's shave club? Where's the women's shave club? I mean, maybe there is one. We just haven't looked it up.
Maybe.
But it's not advertised as much as for men. When we're the ones that shave.
And then the women's things to shave with are shit. Y'all need to quit that shit.
Like, fix that shit.
Yeah. Give us the manly quality, okay? Because some of us are a little hairy like men, okay?
Girl, like this said, I was hairy like my dad, so yes. But moving on, because we could probably do a whole episode on just shaving and girl hair.
I know. We did, by the way. It's one of our earliest episodes. If y'all haven't heard it, you should go listen to it.
Yes.
It's on Spotify. It's not on YouTube, though.
No. And it's the wax versus laser versus shaving.
Yeah.
But the next one is with hair still, but it's why do Latinas have long hair? Because a lot of Latinas, especially, I feel like the older generation more. Not really the younger ones, because, you know, trends. But it definitely was a trend for a long time to have very long, like down to your feet, long. And again, I did research on all of these questions, and there's no specific answer. I think it's just more to do con gustos. So what do you think? What would you say? Why do we have long hair?
I don't know. I guess, honestly, I don't really know. Because I'm always back and forth whether I want my short hair or my long hair. Because my long hair literally used to be like down to my ass.
Passing.
Yeah. And I cut it, the first time I cut it like super short, I cut it down to like up to here. And
very drastic change.
Very drastic change. But I do miss my long hair, and I've been trying to grow it out for the past 2 years now. 3 years? No. 2 years? No, 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. But yeah. And I don't know. I wish I would have saved my hair that I cut off. That way I could have turned it into like a weave or something. That way if I want my long hair, every now and then I can have my long hair.
And it'd be your own hair.
Yeah. So it looks more natural.
Yeah.
Than some like weave that you buy at the store. Because they don't have like my texture and style or like curl pattern.
Yeah.
So.
Very unique to you.
Yeah.
I actually, for this one, my head went immediately to religion. I felt like it was very attached to religion. Not because religion, but it just had an influence because Latino America is very religion based, you know, very faith based. Like I said, especially for the older generations. And I feel like there's a specific religion where women aren't allowed to cut their hair. You know, the ones that like they wear only skirts. They have really long hair. It's some sort of Christianity. I just don't know what. So I think that one may have to do parts with it. And then also, I know like with Catholicism, it's not the same thing. Like we can't cut our hair, but there's, what's the word? There's hints of hair being your strength.
Gotcha.
In different Bibles, there's references all throughout the Bible that long hair equals strength. Like for one in particular is the story about Samson, which he was a warrior and he was like one of the strongest, one of the more famous of the Bible. And the Bible directly says that his strength came from his long hair. And throughout the story, they actually end up cutting his hair and he loses his strength. So I think some people were influenced by that. And then also I was talking to my mom about it because I was like, I'm curious as to like why she thinks so. And the reason that she gave me, I was like, that's actually a really good one. She told me that there's actually a lot of Hispanic men that refer long hair to femininity. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
They just see long hair as feminine.
Gotcha.
And they prefer their women feminine and long hair. Like with your dad. I immediately thought of your dad. Because, you know, he's always, every time any of us cut our hair, he's like, why?
Yeah.
But it's so pretty. And not to say we do things to please men, but like when you're married, you have a boyfriend, you do want to keep certain things that they like about you. Like, I know for women, if we like, let's say their facial hair, and we're like, can you please, like, don't shave it and keep it? It's not that they're doing it to please us, but they're like, okay, because I know you like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's just kind of natural to do certain things when your partner likes it.
Gotcha.
So when my mom brought that up, I was like, that makes sense. Because a lot of Hispanic men do like their women with longer hair. And so it's just obvious that a lot of them would have it because of that. Or I was also thinking, what if it's like women that want to find a husband, so they're like, oh, this is what men like, maybe I'll find one if I keep it like this. You know. So I think maybe that's also part of it.
Maybe. Actually, not that long ago, I had seen this video. It wasn't like, I don't think that maybe it is true, maybe it isn't, I don't know, who knows, but I was listening to it just because it was entertaining. But it was saying how your hair holds on to certain events or traumas from your life, which in case in point why women or girls end up cutting or changing or restyling their hair after breaking up.
Facts.
So I mean, I felt like that was pretty true to me, because right after my breakups, like, that's whenever I chopped my hair off.
Same.
So,
well, right after my breakup is when I went through my whole rainbow phase. Because you know how it's a known thing that girls go through their red hair phase? I went through pink, red, orange, yellow, green. Yeah. Just down the rainbow. Any color you can think of. Any combination you can think of. Because I think at one point I had 5 colors in my hair.
Yeah.
Then 3, 4. Like, I always had hella color in my hair.
Yeah.
And I went through that right after my breakup.
Yeah. And I literally chopped off all of my hair, or almost all of my hair, like up to here. This is the shortest I've had it, up to my ears, to the point where you can actually see the back of my neck.
So it's like a little bob.
Yeah, that was the shortest I've gone.
And
I really wanted to go for a pixie haircut, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I feel like, I mean, my mom complains about this all the time. Those are the haircuts she loves, but she can't because of how curly it is. So you guys will just end up having an afro.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind having an afro. Because, okay, I really want to cut my hair to the point where, like, where it has, like, several layers. That way this part looks bigger. Because every single time I do my hair, I feel like this part just looks straight up flat.
Yeah.
So I want this to be, like, the shortest layer, so that way it stands up rather than just, like, falls down.
Right.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just haven't done it yet. But that's
I love how you're like, I've been trying to grow out my hair for 3 years. I want to chop it off. All. Bye. Gone.
In like another 6 years, I'll chop it off again and I'll keep it as a weave.
And then you'll regret it.
Yeah.
Well, if you keep it, then it'll be okay.
Yeah. I'll turn my cut hair into a weave. That way I can have my long hair whenever I want it. But I really wanted to do that the last time I cut my hair. I just didn't like my hairstylist or that I had that day. But I wanted it to be like super short layers at the top. That way it could be like rounder up here.
Right.
Ultimately, it would end up looking like an afro.
Little afro. Yeah. As to why Latinas have long hair, I think it's just a cultural thing.
Yeah.
We like long hair. Both women and men.
Yeah.
So, no true answer.
It's just easier to maintain your hair when you have hella short hair too, though.
Yeah.
I spend a lot less money on hair products with my short hair.
You know what I've noticed? The girls that have really long hair always have it hella straight. Like naturally.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more of a straight hair thing.
Yeah.
Because when it is curly, it is hella.
It's so hard to like maintain.
And not only that, but expensive. Because curly hair products, one, are more expensive. Oh, yeah. And then 2, if the longer the hair, the more product you use, so the more you have to buy.
And the amount of time it takes just to do your hair. Because, like, believe me, my hair like this is not how it looks like whenever I wake up. I wake up looking freaking greñuda. Poof. Like, I literally have pictures of my hair before I do my hair.
Yeah. And it's all crazy. Picture here.
Yes, picture here. Bro.
No, yeah, it's crazy. And it takes forever, but not all Latinas have long hair. Most of them do. And again, I feel like it's more straight hair than anything. The next one, bro. I don't know how this one wasn't number one. Why Latinas always get pregnant?
We gotta have the big families. If you don't have the tios and tias that you have, where your parents have like 11, 12 brothers and sisters, then they weren't doing it right.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's also a cultural thing. Like, that's just how we come from, like, just big families. We've mentioned before, my dad is the youngest of 11. Eli's mom is
She's somewhere in the middle towards the end.
Of how many?
There's 12 in total of them.
So 11 from my dad, 12 from Eli's mom, and then her dad and my mom are brother and sister, and there's 5 of them. Yeah. Not 12 like the other ones, but I still think 5 is a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's just now, like today's generation, more millennials and later, that we're having less and less kids. One, because we can't afford them. Life is so ridiculous. But I wanted to bring up a joke with this question. I can't remember the name of the comedian, but just like I said last episode, I watch so much comedy because I love it. And it was a stand-up special. It was a guy. And he was just starting his, what do they call it? Not skit. He was just starting his special. And there was a couple in the very front row. And, comedians love to pick on the people in the first row.
Crowd work.
Yeah. And it was a couple, and he asked them, he was like, are y'all a couple? They say yes. He was like, are you a Latina? To the girl, and then the girl was like, yes. And then he was like, are you on birth control? And the girl starts cracking up, and she's like, maybe. He's like, no. And then he turns to the dude, and he's like, you better be careful. He was like, from Latinas, you need an assertive yes. Because no matter what happens, like, they always get pregnant. And he was saying that pull-out methods doesn't work on Latinas. He was like, you can come on their stomach and their belly button will literally open up and take that shit in and get pregnant. He was like, the only thing that works with them is you gotta come on their back. That's why they call them wet bags.
Oh my God.
I was like, this dude, that shit was one of the funniest things I have ever heard. Gosh. It's like, he does not say that. But it feels so true. Like, Latinas are always getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So again, Googled it to see if there was like a scientific answer to that. And all the articles that I could find say yes, Hispanic women or women with Hispanic descent usually tend to have higher fertility rates. And they all said that there's no real like scientific answer as to why. But one article I read, it did say that it probably has to do with the fact that we start earlier in life.
Gotcha.
So Latinas tend to have babies a lot earlier than other ethnicities, especially because, we live in the United States. So the biggest ones would be like Hispanics, whites, and blacks. Whites, it sounds so weird saying that, but you know what I mean. Usually, like with the white folks, they tend to have more of a timeline. Like they graduate high school, they go to college, they get married, then they start thinking about having kids, and that's usually late 20s, early 30s, maybe even mid 30s. Right. With us, it's kind of a different timeline. Again, not everyone's like that, but more of a generalization. We usually tend to have babies as soon as we're out of high school or while in high school. And a few articles that I read did say that has to do with it because the younger you are, the more fertile you are. And so that also plays a
role in it.
Right. Yeah. Like we just start having kids hella early. So obviously we're more likely, like an 18-year-old is more likely to get pregnant than a 35-year-old.
For sure.
And so they said that's part of it. And also, I thought this one was interesting and I've never thought about it. Like infertility doctors, when they go and they get all the treatments to try to have babies, they say that the reason it may look like Caucasian women go through that more than Hispanics or African American is because African American and Hispanics can't afford it. So even if they can't have babies, it's not like they can go to the doctor. Because I have heard from some women that have gone through that process, they pay like over $100,000. Like it's an expensive process. And so obviously just the fact that you can't have kids doesn't mean you're automatically going to go to that, because you may not be able to afford it. And so the ones that for the most part can are white, and that's why it looks like they have higher infertility rates, but it's just because they're the ones that can't afford it.
That makes sense though.
Yeah, so when I read that, I was like, yep. It clicked. Yeah. That it makes sense. But yeah, as to why Latinas are always pregnant, Quién sabe.
I think it could also be, apart from that, the biological standpoint, I think it could also be more of a cultural thing as well, or a combination of it. Because, of course, you see more of, like, huge families more in, like, Latino, in la cultura latina, right? Whereas people who are just non, they tend to have smaller families. Like, they'll have, like, 5-6 kids, but, like, for the majority, you rarely ever see someone with like 11-12 kids.
Oh yeah,
I mean, unless like you're cheaper by the dozen, but
that's a little different.
Yeah. But you don't see that very much. Like you see that mostly with
Latinos.
With Latinos. And I think it's just that I don't know, like we've always had like big families. That's just
it's like
our
what we know. Yeah. So, have you seen that meme of, I think it's Elmer from The Simpsons? And that's his name, right?
Homer?
Yeah.
Did you say Elmer? Elmer. Like Elmer's glue?
That goes to show I do not watch that show. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what's his name?
Homer?
Him from The Simpsons. And he's like looking into either him or the kid. I can't remember. And he's looking into like a locker and it's a picture of a map. And he's like crying. And the caption is, when you're Hispanic, 25 years old and don't already have 5 kids, and then it says, Latinoamérica, te he fracasado.
I haven't seen that one. That's funny.
I think it's so funny because, yeah, like, it's just a common thing that by the time you're 25 years old, you already have like 3, 4, 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I'm behind.
Hella. So am I.
Hella.
I mean, at least I have one, right? But, yeah. No,
I mean, unless you want to count dogs in. I'm still behind, but still.
But I feel like with every generation, it goes down even more. Mm-hmm. Like we said, my mom, your dad came from 5.
Yeah.
Your dad has 4. One of his brothers has 4.
Yeah.
The youngest sister only has 2. Mm-hmm. My mom only has 1. And then another brother has none.
Dang.
So it's like, it has decreased.
Yeah.
And all of ours
have decreased a little.
Yeah. Like one of your sister has 2 and then the other one, and then me 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I want more, but
I really want a big family, but I don't want to have the family. I want someone else to have the family. That way we can have a big family. So if it's none of y'all, then
you just want hella nephews.
Yes. My future husband needs to have either hella brothers and sisters or have one of his brothers and sisters to have hella kids. I just want a big family. But I don't want to have the big family.
Like, you just need to get closer to your mom's side of the family. Because just that alone, oh my God, there's so many of y'all, bro.
Like, I had seen this picture back from 2017, I think. And it was just a picture of the cousins at this Christmas reunion that we were doing. And we filled up the whole living room and half of us were missing.
And it was just cousins.
It was just cousins.
That's wild.
And half of us were missing. We filled up the whole living room. Like,
well, I mean, that would make sense, right? There's 12 of them. And then each has like 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. Like,
the minimum, there's only one that has 2 kids. Everybody else has, I think, 3 or more.
That's crazy.
Anywhere between 3 and 6 or 7.
Dang.
Right? 6.
That's wild. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's how my dad's side of the family is, but I've never like been around them or know them like that, so I don't know. But that's how I feel mine would be, because he has 11 too, and if I'm not mistaken, all of his brothers and sisters also have like hella kids.
Yeah. It's fun though.
I can imagine.
Reunion. Every single time that we go, it's always one of my tia's house, but because she has like the biggest house out of all of us,
right?
And we don't all fit inside, so whenever we're playing like the white elephant game or the intercambio or whatever, we literally fill up the whole living room, the comedor, the kitchen. Sometimes we're outside too.
That's wild.
Especially the people that aren't playing that game, they'll be outside or in the rooms.
Right.
And we fill up the entire house.
It is fun though, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's fun.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But okay, so that was everything for the whys. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the what. What do Latinas like in a guy? And I think I found this question very funny because we've mentioned this before in another episode, where I feel like Latinas are sexualized just for being Latinas. Maybe not sexualized. What's another word?
Objectified?
Romanticized.
Oh, okay.
Like, just for being a Latina, people or like guys want to be with you, but because they have this idea of Latinas. What a Latina is. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I feel like for the most part it's true, but I never feel like I fit into those.
Same.
Because like I'm not fucking crazy. Like I'm not gonna go and slash your tires if you piss me off.
Right. No.
Or like I'm not gonna go fucking hit you. Like I am not a violent person. I'm not gonna get out of my way and hate you. I don't believe in that. Because I'm the type of girl that believes my God. I'm the type of girl that believes if a girl hits you, you have the right to hit her back. I'm not about to get my ass whooped by a man just because I wanted to like go hand in hand. Like I know I'm not gonna win that battle. I'm a tiny ass person, and even if I wasn't, like I don't know. I feel like now, especially since I have a son, no. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not right just because you're a female to hit a guy. But anyway, sorry. Before I go on a whole other rant, what do Latinas like in a guy? I don't think this is a generalized answer. In my opinion, I don't think it is. The only thing I could think about that I would say would fit with most Latinas is tall.
I'm the exception. Because I 6 feet tall is just too tall for me. Like, I don't know how y'all want to... So like, I can't even get on my tippy toes and reach you to give you a kiss. Like, I got to get a whole ass stool, put it in front, and just step on it just...
But you're just thinking of the problem.
And okay, what if we're trying to do the do? He's gonna have to squat if we're trying to stand up.
Make him squat. That's what I had to do. He would squat. Don't make it work, girl.
It's just complicated. It's just like, no, I just want somebody that's... I want him a little bit taller than me, but I don't want him that fucking tall. Watch my next boyfriend be like
7 feet. Yeah.
And I'm gonna be eating my own words. That's but cool. It's just like if I'm wearing heels and we're the same height or you're a little bit taller than me, I'm cool with that. That's it. But so, and just for reference, I'm 4'11", 5'3", 5'2", maybe with heels. So I don't know. Maybe that's for it's okay. Y'all want the tall ones. I'll take the short kings.
And by tall, we mean 6+.
Yeah.
I saw this one post that said, how do you all Latinas want a 6 feet plus guy if all of y'all's dads are like 5 feet? Be humble like your mama.
Oh my god.
And I was like, well, see, at least I have the right to say that I want a tall man like my dad, even though I don't know him. But like my dad was also 6 feet.
Yeah, but then again,
my mom's husband now is 6'3".
Yeah.
No, he's like 6'3", 6'4". Like my mom also likes tall guys, and she's short like you.
Yeah,
maybe even shorter because she's shrinking.
I think she's still a little bit taller than me.
She got to dude. She's short. Have you seen her lately? She's shrink. Every time I see her, it's like she shrunk another inch. She's so tiny now. I'm like,
one day I will be taller than her. But I think right now if she's not taller than me, then we're at the same height. At the very least.
It's so funny. Yeah. So seeing her and her husband is so funny.
Yeah, the height difference is huge.
She's like 5, maybe 4'11" by now, and her husband's 6'3". 6'3", I think. Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah. But yeah, I love tall guys. I don't know, just being able to like lift my whole head and see you up. I don't know, I just like it. And I think a lot of Latinas do.
Oh yeah, for sure a lot of Latinas do, but maybe I just haven't.
She's just weird. No es niña normal.
No soy una niña normal.
We can't spoke today, man.
Or maybe I just haven't found someone that's like hella tall that I find attractive. I don't know.
Maybe. You know what's another one
I won't say no to a really tall guy.
We never say never.
But
at the moment.
Yeah.
It's well, okay, see, that's the thing. You're not saying you don't like tall guys. You're just saying that's not the only thing you're looking for. You know? Because I feel like a lot of us are like, oh, you're not at least like this height, then. Because that's how I feel like I am. I've seen so many cute guys and they've hit on me, but I'm like, you're too short. I don't tell them that because I feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't want someone to point out something physical about me, like, oh, I don't like you, this and that. So I don't do that to other people because I feel like that, like, I don't know, I don't like putting people down. So my answer is always like, no, sorry, I have a boyfriend. But what I mean to say is, you too short. Yeah, there's a lot of guys, and they're not bad looking, like they're not ugly, but they're not tall enough. Like, I'm sorry, just to me, you minimum have to be at least 5'11", so like tiptoeing on 6 feet. But yeah,
that's tall.
But if it's 6 feet plus, Even better for me. You need to be able to reach all the places I cannot reach. If we both need to step on a stool, that's a problem.
I'm used to climbing on the counters.
That's so superficial of me. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good.
You're used to climb. Okay, but your ceilings are also like hella high.
That's true.
Like they go whoosh. Yeah. You know what's another one I thought would be a good one? Also, generalization. Provider.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I don't think it's with the same connotations that most people may think about it. I don't mean it in the sense that 100% take care of me, because I think we've moved as a whole that women want to work for themselves, want to have their own thing. So I don't mean that, but I mean provider in the sense of, even though I don't need you to pay everything, I know you can, type thing, you know?
Gotcha.
Like, I just think in our culture, it's a very set thing that men are providers. And I think with that comes also like responsibility. Like, we like responsible men, someone we don't have to take care of, at least financially, because that's a whole thing we still need to fix, where men still want us to take care of them like they mama did. Like, why do I have to clean up after you? Why do I have to basically feed you, spoon feed you? Like,
right,
you're a grown-ass man. But in other senses, you know, I feel like as Latinas, we look for providers. In whatever sense that may look like for that individual person.
Right. I see a difference between mothering someone and taking care of someone. Like, I would want to take care of my significant other. To be his mother? Absolutely the fuck not. The fuck out of here with that shit. I'm not your mama.
Got the wrong one, bitch.
Yeah. But I would want to be able to take care of him. And in return, I would want him to take care of me. And also in terms of providing, I think another thing that I would want them to provide for me is some sort of security or safety kind of thing. Like, if I want to feel like I'm safe while you're hugging me kind of thing.
Not only provider, but protector.
Yeah, that's what I want.
I agree.
And I think obviously that could come in different kinds of ways, because it could be someone who isn't like built or whatever, but they can still make you feel safe.
Of course.
Right? So I'm not talking about like body and that kind of thing. I'm talking about the kind of energy that they bring. If they bring the kind of energy that makes you feel like you're safe and you're protected, yeah, that's what I want. I'm not talking about like the physicality of it.
Right, because it's not always in the outside world. Like, you don't want to think, oh, if someone were to say anything, you're gonna jump in and beat them up. Like, it doesn't always mean that, but it can mean you protect my feelings when it's just you and me.
Right.
Like, you don't put me down. Like, you just feel safe.
Right.
Yeah, and it doesn't always mean physically.
Right. And also in terms of like taking care of each other, yeah, I would want to cook for him like whenever I can, and also I would want him to cook for me too. So the same things that I would do for him, I would want him to do for me as well. It's not just like and also in the sense of him protecting me, I would want to do the same for him in the way that I'm capable of doing. Obviously, the way that I'm capable of doing it will be different from the way he's capable of doing it. Right, and vice versa. So in general, just everything that I want from a man is what I'm willing to give as well. Just obviously it'll be reciprocated on different capabilities, because we're both two different people, but everything ultimately that I would want to give, I'd want to receive back.
Of course, yeah. So it's safe to say, what do Latinas like in a guy? For Dulce, tall, provider, protector.
Yeah. Eli, short, provider, protector.
And I think it would be safe to say a lot of Latinas would agree.
Yeah.
But again, it's not just a Latina thing. I think it's just a woman thing. But y'all romanticize Latinas.
For sure.
For whatever fucking reason.
They want to say that we're spicy. And we can be. Our spiciness being our attitude. But every fucking woman has an attitude. So...
I mean, I will say we are a lot louder than a lot of other girls.
Yeah.
In, like, different ways. Like, the way I've seen a lot of Latinas, they're not necessarily loud when they're out and about, but like with their man, like if they get in trouble, like they go chop your head off, like verbally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, stop romanticizing Latinas just for being Latinas. Even though I have done that to certain guys. Like, oh, tall guys, just because you're tall. The hypocrisy. All right, so what do Latinas eat?
Quesadillas.
Hot Cheetos. Hot Cheetos in Arizona.
I literally have one in my room.
Hot Cheetos?
Arizona.
I have a whole gallon of Arizona.
You always do.
I know. I love Arizona.
If it's not the gallons, you have the bottles, and you usually have them in the bottom rack.
Yeah.
Where you have your waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Arizona tea.
Arizona tea is so good. The green tea honey flavored one is my favorite one.
Same. I don't really like the other ones. It just tastes like flavored juice.
I mean, I'll drink them if they don't have the honey green tea one. But yeah, the green tea flavored one is my favorite one.
Chef kiss.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do Latinas eat? I would say honestly just spicy shit. Spicy junk.
Yeah.
Spicy junk.
Yes. The hot Cheetos, specifically the limon flavor one.
And takis.
Yeah.
A lot of us love that. And hot fries. So just spicy junk.
Yeah.
Safe to say?
Safe to say.
Safe to say. That was a quick one. What Latinas mean? So I feel like this could be one of two ways. I took this question, the very first time I read it, is what do Latinas mean, as in like when they tell you things, what do they mean?
That's exactly what I was thinking right now.
Okay, because I would say more than likely the opposite of what they're telling you. Like if they're telling you, no, it's okay.
No, I'm fine.
No.
No, the fuck we not.
No. Like,
do you want food? No, I'm not really hungry. Bitch, you better buy some food.
Because if you come home with only food for you.
We finna eat your food.
Oh, I was gonna say we finna have a problem. We finna fucking fight.
I'm gonna start eating your fries. No, what I really, really want is I really want to go to a restaurant. What I really, really want. So tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
I wanna. What you wanna?
Hot fries.
Hot fries?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I want to eat hot fries.
No, but you said something about going to a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. I want to go to... Okay. Like, I really want to go to a restaurant. And if I can't decide what I want to eat, I'm, like, stuck between two different plates. And he's craving one of the plates that I'm looking at. He can order one of those plates and I order one of the plates. And then we eat all of the food together. So we share the food. Or if he has two plates he wants to eat and I have two plates I want to eat, bitch, order all four. We eat all four together. She
got money.
That's what I want to do. I want someone who can eat with me.
Yeah.
Because I like to eat. Next question.
No, I was thinking, like, why do we as women do that? Like, no, we don't want food, knowing damn well we do. Why do you do that?
Because I'm not hungry in the moment. You know what I mean? But then I don't get hungry until like 15-20 minutes later, and then I get hungry, especially because I smell the food. Then yeah,
I think for me is I'm not hungry, and even when you get the food, I'm not hungry. Pero seeing you eat it, se me antoja, because it looks
that
good,
too.
You know?
Yeah.
But it also depends, because like if you get a cheeseburger, guacala, you can have it all. But like if you get some elote, oh my god, I really want an elote. Okay, next question, because we're gonna go on a rant about food. We always go on rants about food.
I know.
What Latinas wear? I thought this was an interesting one because I feel like there's this...
Is there a stereotypical
Latina aesthetic? I think so, because there is a Latina aesthetic.
Okay.
But again, I don't fit it. I feel like I usually dress up for these episodes, but it's not really what I wear in day to day. I feel like my normal day to day is like a skater girl. Like I always have Vans on. I got some skinny jeans and just like a t-shirt and a hoodie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And mine would be just like gym clothes and tennis shoes, running shoes. That's my normal aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's my comfy clothes.
So we don't fit into this category, but I do think there's an aesthetic with it. Go on Pinterest and just put Latina girl aesthetic. Because there's an aesthetic, I feel like, for clothes and for makeup.
Okay. Makeup, yeah, I do see that. Clothes, I don't
do it because my face is not a typical Latina face. I always get mistaken for Middle Eastern. People always think I've been asked if I'm Egyptian. I've been asked if I'm... All Middle Eastern countries, like, people just think I'm Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
So, I've tried that, like, Latina makeup. It just doesn't look good on me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never tried doing the Latina makeup. Or at least, if I have, I never did it intentionally. It just happened to look that way.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, my eyebrows usually would just
She's just a chola.
Hella arched. I mean, but that's just the natural shape that they take. I don't know.
Right.
And I don't know. And okay, for fall season, I always try to do that whole flannel season wear, but it don't matter how cute I try to make it look. Like
she comes out like a chola.
Yeah, like I can't make it look like a flannel season.
With those boots, you will. It's always because you wear Adidas. Every time you wear flannels, you wear Adidas, so of course it's gonna come out like a chola.
Okay, but that one's because I was like, oh wait, but I can still up it up. I'm gonna try doing that, but I think it's also just my face.
Oh, for sure. But if you try to put in like maybe those boots, it'll be less chola.
Okay.
Ellie just always looked like a fucking chola.
I don't try to.
Especially when she does like her makeup and she's like full on in like an outfit.
When I beat my whole face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chola.
Yeah. Unintentionally.
Though. Unintentionally, but just straight up
I'm just
chola.
trying to be cute. No.
Okay. So let's move on from the what. Move on into the who.
Okay.
So the very first one and the most popular is Latinas who have won Oscars.
Okay.
So I actually looked it up. No Latina has ever won an Oscar.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's because of the lack of talent. I just think it's because there's a lack of representation. I just don't think there's many actresses who are Latinas who get those roles to even be considered for Oscars.
Right.
That'd be my opinion. I mean, but I did look it up and there have been Latinas who have won awards, but it's not that often and it's usually Latino men. Gotcha. So I was going down a list and there was a lot of wins, but they're all for men.
Gotcha.
Which, of course, we want to see it be more women, but it makes sense because it's a male-dominated industry. Like, most directors are male, most producers are males, a lot of actors with the big roles, you know. I feel like we've just in recent years started to kind of shift that.
Right.
But just, like, really quick, some of the ones I found were Rita Moreno, and she's from Puerto Rico. Her award was for Best Supporting Actress for West Side Story, and that was in 1961.
Dang.
Then there's another one for this one. I was shook that she's Latina. Maybe I'm just late. Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh yeah, she came out on
Black Panther.
Yeah. I didn't know she was
Latina. She's from Mexican descent. I was shook.
Interesting.
I always found interesting that her name was Lupita, but I never looked it up. But yeah, apparently she's from Mexican descent. Amazing actress, and she's so pretty. So she won also Best Supporting Actress in 2013 for 12 Years a Slave. And then the other one that won was Emily Curry, also Mexican descent, but that was in 1942, and then she won again in 1954 for the Harris and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And that was for Best Production Design. So she was actually a production designer, not an actress. And like I said, in the 40s and in the 50s. And those were the only ones I could find.
That's crazy. That's not that many.
Nope. Even though there have been a lot of women who have done amazing jobs. Maybe there are more for different awards, but those were the ones I found for Academy Awards and no Oscars.
Dang.
Yeah. So that first question, Latinas who have won Oscars, none. So we can move on. Latinas who have made history.
Okay.
I think this one's so dope. I was doing a lot of research and there's so many amazing Latinas throughout history who have done some amazing things. But of course, that could be a whole episode on its own. So I'm just going to go through a quick list of just 4 that stood out to me.
Okay.
So let me know what you think, Ellie. Ellie has not seen these. So the first one is Ellen Ochoa. She was the first Hispanic woman in the world to go to space on April 8th, 1993. And she didn't stop there. After that, she then became the first director and the second female director in 2013 at the Johnson Space Center here in H-Town.
What? Nice.
So after...
How come, like, we've never learned about any of this? Like, in school or anything like that?
I don't know. Because the only one we hear about is... What's his name? Armstrong. It's the only one we know about.
Yeah. And of course, it's a man.
Yeah. That's
sad.
Good question. But yeah, I think that one was pretty dope, especially because it's in H-Town. But yeah, so she was the first Hispanic woman in space. Then we have Dolores Huerta, and she was a woman who created the United Farm Workers in 1965. So the United Farm Workers was an organization that worked tirelessly to improve the work conditions for farm workers. So she was a farm worker herself, and she saw how like the conditions were super bad. So she became an activist and created this organization. And she was very instrumental in bringing legislation that protects some of the most vulnerable people in our society. So she did that through lobbying, activism, boycotting. Like, she did a lot for farmers, which I think is super important, because I think we all know that farmers get some of the shittiest like pay and work conditions, and it's just like an all around really bad.
Yeah, they work like they do the work that most typical citizens wouldn't want to do.
Exactly. And my hat always goes out to them, because honestly, I wouldn't do those jobs either. You know, and they're a fundamental part of our society, because it's literally where all of our fruit comes. If they're not picking it, it goes bad and it just dies right there.
Right.
They're the ones that make sure we get it. You know, they're the ones picking it. They're the ones keeping it alive. Like, they're so important. But yeah, she was the one that created a society that allowed them to have rights and protection. And then moving on from that is, I don't know if you know her. I thought this one was really interesting because I have seen her on television. Her name is Maria Elena Salinas. Does that ring a bell?
Was she on Univision?
Yeah. So she actually made history for being the longest running female news anchor on U.S. television.
What? That's cool.
And the reason why I put her on here is not only for her time on television, but because of everything else she has done more like behind the scenes. So she is the first Latina to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award Emmy for her time on television. And she uses her platform to cover issues that affect the Latino community and tries to help Latinos get more involved in politics and journalism. She has worked at Univision.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to add her because I feel like I kind of grew up with her, because my mom always watched the news, and she was always the one, the news anchor. Yeah.
That's
so I
pretty
just thought
cool.
it was dope that she is the longest running news anchor.
My tia used to live in the same apartment building as Jorge Ramos.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I think he's also another dope one. I love when he's on TV. I love watching him.
He moved to Telemundo, though. He's not on Univision anymore.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I don't watch either anymore.
It was a political reason as to why he moved.
He did get a lot of backlash, because I heard that a lot of people were saying that he always, like, when the TV was on, when the cameras were on, he was for the community, but behind the scenes he wasn't.
I've actually never heard that one.
It was like a big scandal when it first happened, and I think that's when he moved to
Telemundo.
I mean, is it true? Quién sabe? Nada más él y Dios. Pero I did read an article that even his wife said that. Ex-wife, because then they ended up getting divorced.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, all we can speak about is what we see, and we have seen he works tirelessly for the community. So, is that true?
Quién sabe?
Quién sabe? But nonetheless, it's people we grew up watching.
Right.
Of course, it wasn't like a drama or just a television show. It was the news, but you grew up on these people, you know? It's like they're a familiar face.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that one was a cool one. And she's not a news anchor anymore. I read that she parted ways because I guess she had been doing it for so long, and now she focuses mainly on trying to get the community active in like politics. Because, you know, Latinos were known to not be active at all. Like, we don't vote, we don't really care for shit when it comes to that. And so she's trying to get like the younger folks involved and people voting and, you know, all of those things, which I do think is very, very important. Yeah. Because once we are all educated on different things, like, we can truly make a difference. Even though I'm not one to do it, I do think it's important, and I would one day like to get up there and just be more educated on things, you know? Yeah. But moving on, the very last one I have is more of a current events. So I don't know if you've heard about her. Her name is Katia Echazarreta. I don't know why that felt like such a tongue twister. Katia Echazarreta. So I heard about her, I believe, last year, because I saw a post that she was the cover for Vogue. Because even though I said Elena Ochoa was the first Hispanic woman in the world, Katia is actually the first Mexico-born woman in space.
What?
Wait, I said that wrong. What did I say for Elena Ochoa? Elena Ochoa was the first Hispanic woman in space. I think I said something different. And then Katia is the first Mexico-born female in space.
That's pretty cool.
So Ellen was Hispanic, but not born in Mexico.
Gotcha.
Katia is born in Guadalajara.
Hey.
Yeah. So she is from Guadalajara, and she is my age. She was born in 1996, and she is a electrical engineer, science communicator, and citizen astronaut. She is the first Mexican-born woman in space that launched in June 4th, 2022. And to add just to everything, she came to the U.S. when she was 7.
Hey.
Who else came to the U.S. when she was 7? Mwah. So I don't know, when I see things like that not only are we the same ethnicity, but like we were born in the same city. We came here at the same age. So we might have came at the same time because we're both born in 1996.
Yeah.
And we both came when we were 7. So we both came at the same time.
Imagine if y'all were on the same plane.
Hey. Yeah, because I'm not an immigrant who crossed the border like a lot of people do, risking their lives. I actually came on an airplane. So just putting that out there because people are going to be like in an airplane. But yeah. So yeah, I thought it was so cool. And what she's doing is like so dope. And she's so young. Like she already went to space last year. And she's only 28 years old. Like that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And she was born in Guadalajara.
That's pretty cool.
Hella cool.
Being able to see people that are around our age making those kinds of strides, that's inspiring.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it can go one of two ways because sometimes I do look at those things and I'm like, damn, what have I done with my life?
Yeah.
You're already in space and I'm over here still trying to figure it out. But it also is inspiring because it's like, okay, we're getting it out there. You know, people our age are doing big things and people coming exactly from where we're coming from. But yeah, so those are the 4 that stood out to me. Of course, there's so many more like Frida Kahlo, who, I mean, revolutionized the art community. Like there's so many other people that did amazing things.
Right.
But again, we would be here for 2 hours just talking about them.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do an episode just honoring all of our Latinas who have made a difference. But that's just a quick 4. Moving on to the next question is Latinas who changed the world.
Okay.
So honestly, I would say kind of they go hand in hand. Latinas who have made history and who have changed the world. They just, in my opinion, have opened up the doors for so many behind them to
for sure
go into that industry or that workforce, whatever it may be. They open up those doors for those Latinas coming behind them. They pave
the way so that the ones that go in after them can make further strides.
Right. They ran so we could walk. But the lines again, bro.
Or is it they walked so we can run?
Maybe.
One of those 2 ways.
Nunca decimos los dichos right. I feel like we always say them as backwards, but y'all get the point.
Y'all get what we're trying to say.
And our last question for the who is Latinas who are famous.
Okay.
So that's a very long list, and especially depending on what you're trying to look at. Like, are you trying to see models, actresses, directors? There's so many, and I love to see those lists grow and grow longer every year or every decade. But I just wanted to say my top 5 that I personally like, because I was looking at, you know, a lot of lists because I'm like, who is Latina? And there's a lot that like concoct me.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I was like,
I'm like,
they're
what?
Hispanic, they're Latinas. Again, like Lupita.
Right.
It makes sense because of her name, but I just did not know that.
Right.
Especially when I've never heard them speak Spanish because, you know, I just don't know. But anyway, some of my favorite ones would be, and these are all actresses. Again, it could be in any field, but the ones I personally like are Salma Hayek, which of course she's from Mexican descent, Sofia Vergara, Colombiana, Kate del Castillo. Fucking love her. She's such a good actress.
She is.
Mexican. La que le hizo if you guys are wanting to watch it, La Reina del Sur. It's a Spanish series and it's so good.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy. When I first heard that she was Latina, I was like, super bamboozled, and she is like 100% bilingual. She speaks really good Spanish. I thought she was white, but it makes sense because she's Argentinian. Argentinians are white.
Yeah, they're pale complected,
right? Colored eyes and everything. But I also love her. She's such a great actress.
Now that got me thinking. Okay, because Argentina, people de Argentina, they're like white complected, con like los ojos azules y verdes y todo eso. Like, I wonder if my mom has some sort of, I don't know, background in Argentina, because my mom is igual, es bien, I mean, they call her güera, porque es güera, tiene ojos verdes y azules, and sometimes they look yellow, and her hair is like super, super light, like it almost looks kind of blonde in the sun.
Right.
So,
I mean, we kind of were saying this when we were trying to come up with this list, that even us as Latinas, we forget we come in all shapes and sizes. Every time we think of Latina, we think like us, a little darker skin, darker hair, black eyes. Like, we just look a certain way, but we forget that there's so many Latinas out there, Afro Latinas, who you are like, no, that's just, they're black. Like, no, they're still Latinas. It's just a lot of Latino America countries son Afro Latinas.
Yeah.
And they look just like black folks, but they're Latinos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I saw this one post that was saying, you guys always forget about Latino Afros. Afro Latinos. Oh my gosh. That was so hard. But yeah, we come in all shapes and sizes. Like you just said, your mom's super white, colored eyes. So is my dad. You have the really, really dark ones. You have really, really tall, really, really short. And again, that comes with any ethnicity.
Right.
Like, every ethnicity has a lot within it. But honestly, I feel like Latinos are the ones that cover like the whole spectrum. Because hay un montón de Latinos que look Asian.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a few friends where people straight up think they're like, well, Filipinos and Mexicans are very...
Yeah.
Because we have the same influence from the same colonizers. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Latinos are the ones that really fill up the whole spectrum. Like, we look like every race on earth.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, my last one would be Roselyn Sanchez. She's an actress. But do you have any top Latinas?
The ones that I listed was Zoe Saldana. After she played in Colombiana, I really started getting into her movies. And then she started coming out on Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. I like her role on there.
Another really good actor, is very talented.
For sure. And Tessa Thompson, that one, I did not know that she was Latina. So she's the one that came out on Creed. She was, and on Thor. Yeah. She's Valkyrie. I love her role on Thor. And then, of course, we talked about this last episode, Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
I was surprised. I was shocked.
I was shook.
But I love her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we actually looked this up because we were really like surprised by it. And so she's of Mexican descent. Her mom, born in Mexico. And what we read in the articles was that Marilyn was actually really proud of her roots. And were you able to read if she was bilingual or not? That part, I don't know.
That, I don't know.
Okay, so we don't know if she spoke Spanish. I'm sure if we looked it up, we could find it. But they say that she was very proud of her roots, that she never hid the fact that she was a Latina woman, a Mexican woman. But it was Hollywood who never allowed her to express those roots. And they just wanted her to be portrayed as this, like, sexy American, sexy white girl, you know?
Yeah.
Hence, like, the white hair and all of that. But she was a proud Latina. So that was it for us. Again, way more Latinas out there, but those were our favorites. So we're gonna move from the who and go to the when. So the first one is the most popular when asked question about Latinas is when God made Latinas. And that one, I don't think it's a question. I think it's a meme. I don't know if you ever watched those videos. They were really popular on TikTok a few months ago when it was saying, when God made Latinas. And it's like someone's in front of a pot and they're just like pouring water.
Oh, okay.
And it's like they pour a little bit and it's like, I don't know, like damn. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Or like they would pour a lot of water and it'd be like attitude.
Yeah.
And they would pour way more water, short. Like things like that, like for all the attributes that makes a Latina. And I think that's why it's the number one, because it was like a popular meme.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's
That
an
makes
actual
sense.
question of when did God make Latinas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, I don't know.
When were we put on this earth? Well, to be specific, 1704. Just kidding. But yeah, I think that's what it was. But the next one is, when did Latina become a term?
I found this one. Oh, well, this one's Wikipedia, so I don't know if this one's a credible source. But Wikipedia.
According to Wikipedia.
How does he go?
Oh my God. Who is your source? Wikipedia. You use Wikipedia as your source. Oh, that man.
For those of you who don't understand this is Henry
Cavill. He has me on a fucking chokehold. I'm so in love with that man. Anyway, so I get hot and bothered.
So according to Wikipedia, the term Latino was officially adopted in 1997 by the United States government in the ethnonym Hispanic or Latino, which replaced the single term Hispanic.
Interesting. So not until the 1997.
Or at least that's where it was adopted for
Right.
the U.S. government.
So at first it was just Hispanic for everything. Then Latino came into play. Because people forget Hispanic and Latinos are a little different.
Right.
And
A lot of people will use those two terms interchangeably and they don't mean the same thing.
Right. So not until 1997. Interesting. All right. Next one. Where are Latinas found?
Anywhere in the world.
Who
'Cause we like
Googles
to
this
travel.
shit? Who Googles this shit? Where can I find a Latina? Like,
I don't know. Lay out some hot Cheetos. You can attract one.
you want to attract one? Put a rat trap and some Cheetos inside.
Lead the hot Cheetos up to your door.
With some nails and lashes.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Oh my God.
But I do think we're most commonly found, at least in the U.S. Honestly, I think in Texas and California. If that's what you're looking for, Texas and California.
Yeah.
Where are the best Latinas? In Houston, Texas, United States of America, bitch.
In this room right here, bitch.
Say it again. And I think that is a common fight that we have, Cali versus Texas. I'm sorry, I'm just a little biased, but I think Texas Latinos are better. Even though I will say California Latinos set a lot of trends for us that we then start to follow. So I'm biased, but I also am not dumb, California has some dope Latinos out there.
Oh, for sure. And I'm pretty sure Californians are also biased too, and they'll be like that they're the better ones, but
oh yeah,
I don't know. It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
And that's a 5-star
wrong opinion. Sorry, not sorry.
You're wrong. But yeah, we're the best Latinas found in this room.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a little more broad, Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
All right, so that covers all the wheres, and let's move on to the R. Are Latinas Mexican?
Not all of us.
Not all of them, but yes, all Mexicans are Latinas. Not all Latinas are Mexican.
Right.
And I think that is also a very confusing kind of language that people use, because when people think Latinas, they automatically just think Mexicans for some reason. But then I am one of those that thinks every Hispanic and Latino is Mexican. But not because of not knowing the difference, but just, I don't know why. I just think everyone's Mexican, bro. I'm sorry. Unless you're straight up like por decir los puertorriqueños, porque they do talk very, very differently than us, then I'm like, okay, then you're not Mexican. Yeah. But if I just hear you talk like normal Spanish and you don't have that thick of an accent, I'm like, Mexican.
Yeah. But apart from that, the only other way you can tell they're not Mexican is if they use their own slang for certain words. That's the only other way that you can tell.
Like when I heard someone say sorbete, I was
Bro,
like,
pitillo.
They use that for popote?
Yeah.
I love watching those videos where it's like 5 different people and they are from different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or when I was working in a daycare, bro, someone came up to me and she was all like, ¿Quieres una torta? And I was expecting like a delicious sandwich. And I was like, hell yeah, I was hungry. I was like, give me some. She brings me pastel. I was like,
Torta is a pastel?
torta es pastel for them. And I believe she was... Ooh, what was she? I don't know. She was Central America, but I don't remember from where. But yeah, they call pastel torta. I was expecting...
That just doesn't sound right.
I know! I was expecting a savory, delicious sandwich, and you bring me cake. But yeah, it's just so interesting to see, like, we have very different words for a lot of different things.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Or have you noticed there's some things that, like, it's the same thing, but we have different words for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting. The next one, are Latinas toxic?
Las tóxicas. We can be. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. We can be.
The few that I know, and I say that because I don't have very much friends. Yeah, very. Mm-hmm. And I think for myself, I also did have very toxic traits. Bro, can I tell you about the most toxic thing I ever did?
What's the most toxic thing you ever did?
And it's not even that bad. Again, like, I'm not going to go out and, like, slash your tires. I'm not going to go out and key your car. I'm not going to go out and slap you with a pan. But there was this one time when I was still living with my ex. I love this story. And... does that make me even more toxic? Like, I fucking love
that you're laughing.
It makes me so, like, I don't know. Uh-huh. Okay, so I was living with my ex, and we were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and we had our Wi-Fi and everything. He was playing his PS4. I think he was playing Fortnite, Call of Duty. I don't know, something. He was playing something, right? That you need the internet because he was playing online with his friends. And I had told him to get off of it because I needed help with something. And I would always get mad because he was one of those guys that was, like, addicted to gaming. Like, it was gaming 24/7. And it was like, bro, turn it off. I need your help with something. Can't even remember what it was. And he didn't. He kept playing. I was like, bet. I had Xfinity at the time. And Xfinity had an app that you can get on and actually block certain devices from the Wi-Fi. Like, you can get on and see what device was connected to the Wi-Fi and take them off the Wi-Fi. And, like, the Wi-Fi would still work for everything else, but that device wouldn't. And I was like, bet, you're not going to get off? He didn't know that the app did that because I was in charge of everything. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fucking bet, bitch. I got on my app. I clicked on his PS4, and I said, lock. And all I hear is, bro, I'm fucking laggy. I was trying so hard not to laugh. I was like, don't laugh because you're going to give it away, right? I stayed at that, and then, like, maybe 5 minutes later, he finally comes out of the room, and he's like, okay, like, what did you need? The game's not fucking working, so I had to turn it off. I was like, oh, that's weird. And, like, the day just kept going. I didn't tell him until maybe 5 years. No, that's, like, maybe, like, 2 years after that.
Bruh.
I forgot what came about, and the conversation kind of came up to that, and I was all like, remember that one time? And I told him specifically. He was like, yeah, I remember why. I was like, your PS4 wasn't fucking up for the game. Like, I blocked you from the Wi-Fi. I blocked your PS4 from the Wi-Fi.
Bro, what did he say?
He was like, man, like, he wasn't even mad. Like, he just started laughing. He was like, that's fucked up. Like, why would you do that? But till this day, like, we both laugh about it.
That's funny.
And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't connect it, or I didn't let it connect again until a few days later. So for a few days, he couldn't play it. But he didn't know it was, like, the Wi-Fi, because the TV still worked, our phones worked, like, everything connected to the Wi-Fi worked. It was just his PS4 wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, but it's because I had blocked it.
That's funny.
Like, got me fucked up. You think you gonna play me like that, bitch? But I swear I'm not toxic. No, I will say this. Like, when we were dating, I feel like I was toxic in a lot of ways. Like, I would get mad at him for no reason, and I would just go off. My best friend may also agree that I'm toxic. Like, I've gone off on his ass multiple times. He's like, this is why you're a fucking Latina. One time we were at Westchester, our high school, and he used to drive me home all the time. And he was sitting down in his car in the driver's seat, and he said something. He remembers. I need to ask him. It was JP. He said something that pissed me off. I literally got out the car, closed the door, made him roll down the window, and I was just, like, yelling at him through the window. For what? I don't. And we weren't even dating. That was just my best friend. I was, like, going off on him. I need to ask him what it was about.
That's funny.
And he was like, this is why you're a fucking Latina. I was like, shut the fuck up. It's like, you fucking love it, bitch. Anyway.
As far as, like, my friends go, I feel like we were all toxic at some point, but we're better now.
We've grown. That's what this channel's all about. Self-growth.
Yeah. I think as far as, like, being toxic, I think the most I've ever done was I'd ask him questions that I already knew the answers to, so I would know if he was lying. And if he started lying about shit, I'd just be petty with him for like the next few weeks or so. And I'd be like really short and dry with him.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. And
Right.
like, figure it out. Like, you know,
you knew you
know
lied,
what it
bitch.
is. You know what it is. You don't know that I know, but you know what it is.
It is a scary thing to date a Latina. Sometimes I hear all these stories and I'm like, I don't know how guys do it. But let me tell you, they're fucking toxic too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're toxic in their own fucking way. And I feel like a lot of the times we're not even like this. They fucking make us like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just an excuse, but
Or maybe that's just another toxica Latina thing to say.
I swear I'm not crazy. He just makes me fucking crazy. He makes me act crazy. Because even though I'm not with my ex, like, we still communicate and stuff, because like we have a whole child together. Like, sometimes he still makes me act out of character, and I have to like close my eyes and step back and be like, you're not this person anymore. We're not toxic anymore, remember? But the very last question, and to end it all with, are Latinas loyal? Yes. Yes, we are. For the most part, I think we are. Mm-hmm. Even for everything I've heard of, like friends and people around me, I will say Latino men are not. Latino men fucking suck, and we may be biased, but fuck y'all. This is why we're moving on to white guys, okay? Dang, sorry. I did not mean to say that.
Not me.
But yeah, those were all of our top Google Latina questions. Who's ever Googling these questions, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. And why are there so many of y'all? First of all, like, how are y'all all researching the same questions?
Right.
And these questions particularly.
In particular, I did see this one. I didn't put it on the list because it wasn't like super top search, but it did come up a few times where do Latinas like white guys? So I think I think it's starting to become a thing, mm-hmm. where you see a lot of white guys with Latinas, mm-hmm. which I think is cute. But yeah, that's another one that I did not add on, but
gotcha.
I thought it was worth a mention. But these were definitely fun to do.
For sure.
Let us know if there's anything else that you guys want us to answer the most Googled of.
Or if you have your own answer to any of these questions, let us know.
Yes, let us know if you are a Latina out there and our answers fit the shoe for you. Mm-hmm. Then we was right.
And if we were wrong, tell us what works for you.
Yes, because we know we don't fit the typical Latina.
Yeah,
we're a little weird.
Mm-hmm. No somos niñas normales.
No somos niñas normales.
Y muchas gracias por haber estado aquí con nosotras en este episodio.
And please make sure to follow us on all of our socials, where you will stay up to date with all of our news and announcements. You can find us everywhere as Soul Sisters Lounge. And we'll see y'all back here next week. Bye.